A lot of you have likely been playing Tanki for years and know a lot about the game, but with the game being over 15 years old, there are many different interesting facts about the game that you probably don't remember. Today I'll be going through a bunch of random facts about Tanki Online that you probably don't know. Now comment down below how many things you remember from this video, and let's get started. So there's actually a max rank in Tanki Online. Most of you know that the legend rank is the largest named rank in the game, and you can of course get higher levels of the legend rank. But did you know there's a limit to how many legend rank levels you can reach? Turns out the max legend rank in the game is legend 10,730. Once you reach this rank, you can no longer progress and the game will just keep showing you the rank up animation for every single point you get. Now in old Tanki, you used to select different engines to use rather than different holes. Everyone knows you can switch between different holes now, but did you know you used to switch between engines rather than holes? There were various different engines in the game that could switch between the different looking holes. Some engines were slower and some were faster. You would also have to repair these engines in between games since the engines could deteriorate over time. The map that can hold the most players is the Dusseldorf map, with a whopping 40 players that can play in it. The second most is Berlin with 36, and the two maps tied for third are Lost Temple and the Old Madness map, which can hold 32 players. Speaking of the Old Madness map, did you know there were 9 different ground textures on the map? When you think of different maps in the game, you can typically think of maybe 1 or 2 textures used on the map, like concrete or sand, but the Madness map has a variety of different textures they actually used for the ground. Every time you rank up, you earn crystals, or at least you used to. Well, when you still earned crystals for ranking up, the total amount of crystals earned for going from recruit to legend was 354,010. Now, this might not sound like a bunch in current Tanki, but I'm sure a lot of people can remember counting on the rank up crystals when saving up for new turret upgrades. A lot of you have probably noticed the destroyed Titan Firebird combo all around the game in different maps, but this isn't just a coincidence. It was added as a tribute to the pre-rebalance era before 2013 because it was considered the most useless combo in the game at the time. The Tanki team decided to honor this horrible combo by adding its skeleton around a bunch of maps. The map I ran has a lot of Persian phrases written throughout. The one on the blue flag in the center says, "We've been through a lot to reach the peak of the mountains," while the phrase next to the small writing at the houses can be translated to, "We live not for ourselves, but for the greater good." Prior to April 1st in 2020, the Tanki team teased a new version of the Juggernaut mode where one player would control the hole and another player would control the turret. This was obviously an April Fool's joke, but many players actually wanted this in the game. Tanki pulled another April Fool's joke the following year, teasing the release of a new supply box that would drop in the middle of the map, increase the turret's powers, and give it a new AI targeting system, which was obviously fake as well. In old Tanki, paints used to protect against different turrets, like protections do today. But did you know the most used paint during that time was the Forester paint? Forester was one of the first paints introduced into the garage in Tanki Online and was used by a lot of clans at the time. However, when it was given the railgun protection, many more players started using it. The other two most popular paints were the green paint and holiday paint, since every player got them for free. The Mammoth hole was originally called Goliath before being released and changed to the Mammoth name. During summer of 2015, the Tanki team visited Cologne, Germany for Gamescom. This is where the map Cologne comes from, as Tanki made it to celebrate their trip. Tanki introduced a scavenger hunt / puzzle for players to complete called the game. This event was largely known due to the really cool prizes you could earn for completing it. Throughout the years, players who completed the game first could win fully maxed out Tanki combos, branded t-shirts and mugs, a keyboard, a tablet from Prestigio, and a bunch of smartphones from Nokia. Or even during one year, almost 10,000 players got the Storm Paint, which had a 15% protection from all turrets. The original test version of Tanki, which you can see on screen now, took around 4.5 months to create, which might seem long today, but considering Tanki created their own physics engine back in like 2008, it's pretty impressive. Hornet and Railgun XT were originally brought to the game for 2 weeks during Christmas in 2014. Players could spend 150,000 crystals for the MO version and spend an additional 50,000 crystals for each upgrade. It honestly seemed like a bunch of crystals just to get the XT combo for only 2 weeks, but during this time, a ton of people were willing to spend crystals for it. Now, this next interesting fact is super nostalgic for me because I actually won this event when it was out. So in 2014, Tanki made an event called Football Frenzy during the World Cup. Players could purchase one of the 32 paints for which team they thought would win, and if your team won, you would get most of the crystals back that you spent on the paint. Germany ended up winning that year which was the team I bought the paint for, so I was super excited. The supply indicators were added into Tanki a full 6 months after the game released, so for the first 6 months of the game, players had to guess if the opposing players had supplies active. Tanki once increased the funds in the game by 5 times to celebrate 50,000 viewers during an esports finals live stream in 2015. The last time Tanki released the player registration numbers was in late 2013, and showed the game had surpassed over 30 million accounts created. I'd honestly imagine it's probably over 50 million now. Now the green paint is actually a single pixel. When you look at most paints, you'll see that they're a combination of colors, but with the green paint and many other paints like it, like the white and orange paint, they only use a single pixel for the paint. It actually takes Tanki longer to make the picture icon for the paint than the actual paint itself. Now, you used to be able to purchase an unlimited supplies pass for the May holidays. Back when this was in the game, supplies were hard to get, so being able to spend a small amount of crystals for an unlimited supply pass during the event was insanely good. Now, I'm not sure if this pass came for multiple May holidays, but during one of the May holidays, you could purchase an unlimited supplies pass for only 70 crystals. Now this is a silly one, but Recruit is the only rank with blue in it. Out of all the ranks in the game, the Recruit rank is the only rank to have blue in the icon. Crusader's Overdrive accelerates and has a range of 1,000 meters. Now this is a more recent fact, but it's still kind of interesting. The Crusader Overdrive, which shoots a large crystal, gets faster as it goes on, and it actually has a range of over 1,000 meters. The idea of Tanki Online Classic actually came in 2013, over a decade ago, when the initial massive graphics change happened. Now Hazel mentioned in an interview that the Tanki Online Classic idea was originally thought of in 2013 after that massive graphics update. Although many people have only recently heard about the Tanki Online Classic idea, it's been in talks for over a decade. You used to have to wait for turrets or holes to upgrade before using them again. With upgrades being instant in current Tanki, many people probably didn't know that you used to have to wait for an upgrade to complete before using that certain turret or hole again. Not to mention some upgrades would take a long time, multiple days sometimes, depending on the tier of the upgrade. Tanki also had an unused idea where the upgrade could fail. You can actually see the idea Tanki had where there's an upgrade wheel with a chance of the upgrade failing, but luckily this idea was scrapped. You used to get personal sales when you logged in, and these could actually stack with other sales in the game, meaning you could sometimes get a sale of over 50% if you were lucky. During events, you could still get personal sales come in, so if you were lucky, a personal sale would stack with an event sale, and you can get a really nice discount on a certain hole or turret. There was a bug during Tanki Online's birthday in 2016, where if a gold box drop was still on the map, you could keep refreshing the game and recatching the same gold box over and over. It had something to do with the client side version of the game giving you crystals, but the actual server didn't update, so you could keep getting crystals over and over, which in 2016, 1,000 crystals was still a decent amount. If you've seen my video going over the entire history of Tanki Online, you might know this one, but if you haven't seen that video, I'd highly recommend checking it out after this one. So basically, Tanki initially only had 2 game modes when it released in 2009, which was Deathmatch and Team Deathmatch. Surprisingly, Tanki Online when it first released didn't have the Capture the Flag game mode, and it took a full month after the game coming out for it to actually be introduced. And those are all the interesting facts I have to share with you guys today. Let me know how many you knew in the comments down below. Don't forget to use creator tag Taspens. I'll see you in a future video. Peace out, everybody.